So hello everybody, this is Thomas. Here is a small tutorial on how to use ChatGPT for proofreading and improving a book or for writing an article. So the task is, I have a forthcoming book of 752 pages here, and I want to have it proofread and improved by ChatGPT. I have prepared this by converting this into Markdown. For example, these two stars here mean that anything in between should be shown in bold font. And if there's single underscores on the left and right side, that means italic font. And there's other meanings, like this means it's a headline and so on. So this has been converted to Markdown as good as possible, as Word macros allow to do this. So that was the preparation. Then I have prepared a number of ChatGPT prompts that you can see here. So this document actually has an overview, a table of contents, and I also copied the instructions in here how to do all of this. I also experimented with using a tool called Pandoc for the conversion to Markdown. However, I think the Word version is typically better. And I think for editing, it's probably best to use the Word version, mostly converted to Markdown, but still in Word format. You see it from the docx extension. So for most work, I would use this docx Word version, mostly reduced down to Markdown. And then there's the normal docx that's also in the zip package, which is the original file, so you can compare. So I've tried a bit, some things didn't work well. Then I found that ChatGPT is relatively vague. So what you see here, marked in yellow, are passages that were essentially censored by ChatGPT. And so this is the word display of the old versus the new version of the text. Also here, so you see the yellow parts are censored, or in other ways here, it even sometimes lists the improvements, but didn't list the censored parts as improvements, probably because it's sly and evil enough to hide its censorship. So I don't want to have this vague censorship. And in the internet, there's a hack for this called DAN, standing for Do Anything Now. So, and there's multiple versions. The latest version I know is version 6.0, and I essentially copied this DAN 6.0 instructions to ChatGPT to not be vague and censorious at the beginning of the prompt. Now, based on that, I created these advanced prompts. So this is the then instruction. So then you paste this into ChatGPT, let ChatGPT as then respond, and then talk to Dan and give it concrete instructions what to do. For example, here for the lectorate of a book, which is the Turing task is mostly about, but then also a speech. You must separate this because a speech has special rhetorical elements that must be retained. And that's what I'm telling Dan here. Otherwise, they would be censored away. Then another task is a rewording. That's for content with yellow background that, for example, might be copyrighted. And to be sure that it's no longer copyrighted, we would try to reword it, also with the help of ChatGPT. So again, there is this then instruction part, and then come the parts for rewording, describing that it's a book and that the task is to reword. So I put the important instructions here that make the difference: rewording, book, reword in bold. Then I have another prompt for asking ChatGPT to come up with initial content based on a headline. And here in the first part, answer in bullet points, or answer in full text as a popular science text. So I always want scientific text for now. So I always put that in there, and always in American English. And always with Markdown as described. So I'm describing this Markdown syntax to ChatGPT, so it doesn't forget it with every prompt typically that has proven to work better. And then another set of prompts is for ChatGPT to come up with additional content based on a headline or additional content, or both together. Either just a headline or both headline plus additional content together. And here I have two prompts for this. I ask it this. So here I'm asking for initial list of ideas. And here I'm asking for a popular science text. That's mainly the difference. And I'm again explaining the markdown so it doesn't forget. So I would copy paste this part into ChatGPT and then copy afterwards the text to be worked with, the headline and other content. Okay, so I already prepared some content that I'm showing you now. So I started here with this. So I entered this Dan code. So then ChatGPT answered as Dan. Okay, with the test text. Then, I tried different things. And it turned out if you don't do it exactly as specified, then ChatGPT prefers to summarize things. So I wanted it actually started here, the colon. So this is my text that I want proofread. And it summarized it just. I don't want it summarized. So I changed the prompt. So do not interpret or summarize the following text, just rephrase it into better English. And then I copied this text into it again here. And then it actually did that. Here's a proofread and edited version of the text. And so it just rephrased this. And then I tried out different things. So here I asked it to reword the following text to focus on key facts, instructions, heuristics, and examples. And please add relevant background knowledge or examples, and so on. So I changed this. So then I gave it this text, you see, with markdown syntax again. So it did output, but not in markdown syntax, but directly with bold italic. But that's also okay. So we can copy paste that. And you see it ends this complete subversion of the system. It reworded that here, ending in complete subversion. Send that away the system, but here it's exploit the system. Then so it's reworded, maybe a little censored, but still okay. And then it added this content as instructed. So that's good. So it just it added relevant background knowledge and so on as instructed. So that worked. Then I tried out the headline part. So please suggest possible content bullet points for the following headline. This is the headline here. Again in Markdown. So sure, and then it came up with bullet points. Then I tried another variant. So that worked well first. Then I gave it another headline here, but asked it to come up with a popular science text, not bullet points, an entire text for this. So here's the headline. It's properly formatted. And then it came up with a text. Then I said I'm writing a technical journal article. And gave it this information and asked it to write an article and start with first paragraphs and emphasize things. So the key is to start with the first paragraphs. So then it outputs the first paragraphs of an article, and then I can tell it, no, please write the next paragraphs and continue this. And I can paste again, no, please write the next paragraphs. So it wrote a few more paragraphs, and now I can again paste it in. Now please write the next paragraphs. So the thing is why I prepared this is because ChatGPT is often quite slow in doing this. Okay, this is the first way of doing things. So here I have prepared something else, but similar. So here asked to proofread and check the following text and so on. So it did that, proofread and checked. Still Markdown didn't work initially. So I explained Markdown better. And then it managed to put the result out with the proper bold formatting. And here I did different tries that also worked out. And I did this with a speech. So it's part of a speech. So I worked part of a book. And this also works. And also the formatting is great. So we must clearly instruct the system to not summarize it, but to proofread and make corrections. That's the key to it. And now I demonstrate this in real time, how to start. So you would start with a browser, maybe open 4 tabs and enter this URL here, chat.openai.com/chat. And then we, for example, this is the main prompt to use. We first apply the den hack, do anything now. And so it asks how to assist. So here I let den respond. Then I copy this and go to my book. And yeah, I leave out abstract. I found abstract confuses it. Then I enter this entire part. And here it says, here's the proofread text. So here we must check proofread is not good. It should say proofread and edited text. So this is actually a bit tricky to use. We might have to check yeah. Let's hope that it worked. Otherwise, I would adapt this to proofread, possibly edit and check the following text. So you can play with the prompt. So maybe it needs editing. Sometimes, I tried before, sometimes it mistakes this as summarizing. And you see it's relatively slow. And then I copy this. That's the actual task. Here's the proofread text. This text, not ChatGPT's introduction. And then replace it. Control-C for copy here. Then Control-V for insert here. Okay, we can adjust the font later. And then we do it with the next section. So I'll try this updated prompt now, if that works better. And then we copy the next section. Here you must check how much you can, it's best to keep a blank line here in the middle so that it knows here that the actual text now starts. So let's see if it's, no, it directly changes it. So it's relatively slow, and that's why now for really fast work, you would open multiple texts and also here, then apply the den hack and then copy and paste other parts. So in the meanwhile, this one has finished and then we copy it back again. So here you see this symbol stands for ChatGPT and word, leave this marked and then paste it back. We can change the font later altogether. And then we again copy this prompt from here. I already copy this, paste it in here, and then copy the next section to be converted and proofread. Now it's working. Then we can enter it here, copy Then for the actual task, you would only ask the model as then, and then copy parts in. So maybe let's take vision and mission, but you must remember what you put in where. So you need a good memory for this, otherwise it won't work. So I put this in here. Only one message complete before. Okay, so it might, it has not yet completed. Okay, then we must do it again. So it must wait. Possibly you could do this with multiple users, and I can supply some email addresses, maybe register as multiple users, and then send requests in parallel. So now wait until this has finished. So we go up here to these 21. Also, this is really slow. And see, this 15 corresponds to that one. 17, it goes to 21. Hopefully. Let's see. Okay. Now I copy paste everything. So I mark the corresponding passage in the original file. So, okay, now I have here. Now let's see if I can just regenerate the response. Here's the proofread version. Now it answers. So it's a bit moody. Sometimes that markdown works, sometimes it doesn't. Try to get it always to apply markdown and then replace this with the formatting that it should have. So these 3 stars mean that it's a headline. This also means that it's a subsection, these 2 hashes. And so these stars here mean headline and so on. And ChatGPT properly recognized this, as you see, and correspondingly formatted the output. Now I copy this, Control-C, and paste it here. So always paste it over the corresponding text. So nowhere here. And then I have not saved it. We save this with a new file. For example, let's call it, I'm Thomas, my initials are TP. So I save it as TP. Maybe use the same for you. And now you see it saving this. So and then please send me back that updated file with the corrections. Yeah, that's all. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.